This is the 40 Days for Life podcast with your host, Sean Carney.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the 40 Days for Life podcast. I'm Sean Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life, and your host for this podcast, which is dedicated to helping you end abortion where you live. We are laughing already about something funny we will soon tell you about. Today's topic is safe haven baby boxes and safe haven laws. Why are more babies being left abandoned? And does the overturning of Roe have anything to do with that? Does the defunding of Planned Parenthood have anything to do with that? This is a listener-requested podcast showing you that we actually do care what you have to say most of the time. And so when you make a request, that gets read. If you make a complaint, that really gets read. So if you want to complain, you'll definitely get read. But suggestions are welcome. This was a great suggestion months ago, and we are just getting to it. So we have a lot to cover. And joining me on this, unfortunately, Steve-less podcast once again is Ramona Trevino. How was that?
Pretty good.
Ooh, that was much better.
Trevino.
It was subtle.
Easier, softer. And then Heather is here.
I'm also here.
That's right. You don't have a last name.
Hi,
I'm like,
Heather.
it's fine.
Okay, so this is exciting. A while back, we can say, we had our leader symposium in Houston. One of the greatest stories in the history of 40 Days for Life happened at this symposium. Was it a baby save? No. Was it an altar call? Somebody coming up and getting baptized? No.
Was it a worker?
Was it a worker converting? No. It occurred at the pro-life hub of Texas, Buc-ee's. And it involves our friend, Ramona Trevino. What you are about to hear is the most Mexican mama story in the history of Mexican mamas. So, what we do is we bus the leaders from downtown Houston to here, our headquarters, and they get to see it, and it's awesome. And because we're loving, caring, compassionate Texas pro-lifers, we pull the buses over at Buc-ee's. Now, I got there earlier because I went up on my own in my truck, and so I got there about 30 minutes early before the buses. And we've done this before, and it's a total blast because, like, Buc-ee's goes... Gilbert has pulled the Googles of Googling 40 Days for Life, and like all around Buc-ee's, people are Googling because all the 40 Days for Life leaders, we're all walking around in our gear, taking pictures of Buc-ee's, all this stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
It is funny because people are in Buc-ee's and are like, what in the world is 40 Days for Life?
That is so cool.
Well, you think about it, 200 people wearing our gear walk into Buc-ee's. And Buc-ee was there this time, actually. He was walking
there.
around. So we have a lot of pro-lifers that were posting. It's just funny because we spend all this money and train the leaders and inspire them, and they go home and they talk about Buc-ee's. It's like a total waste of time.
That was the most inspiring of it all.
So we encounter a problem, and this year Ramona solved it. And when you told me this, because I left, like I was hanging out with the leaders, and then I said, okay, I got to get to HQ early to get ready. So I left Buc-ee's, and as I was driving off, I thought, I don't know how we've done it in the past, but it's always worked. But how do we get all these people back on the buses on time? And so the tail of your heroic effort reached HQ, where you went up. See, the cool thing about Buc-ee's is when they have an area where they slice all the brisket and they make all the sandwiches, all of which are amazing. And they have a microphone, and they'll scream stuff into the microphone. So Ramona goes up to the brisket boy and asks him to announce, because the leaders are not getting on the buses. And she goes to the brisket boy and tells him to announce from the brisket microphone that all 40 Days for Life leaders have to get on the bus. I can't believe you did that. Now, did you actually, I'm losing my microphone. Did you actually get on the mic, or you just told him what to say?
No, I told him what to say, but there was this temptation of getting on the mic because it was just right there. And I thought,
I thought
like,
you
I can
got
just
on
take the mic.
Oh,
man.
for
Just
real.
give me the mic.
And he couldn't have stopped you. He wouldn't have.
He wouldn't have
Most
stopped
likely.
me. No. But it was, I didn't stop there, Sean.
But this, hold on. What is the
okay.
tone of you? Is this like, excuse me, sir? Like, were you like, hey, Put the pickle and onion down.
It was a mix between the two.
It was a mix
It's between the two.
Okay.
Yes, this is an urgent matter. We need these folks on the bus. We're leaving, and they need to come on.
Ándale.
So then
Ándale, ándale.
I'm making jokes afterwards going,
Yes.
you could have, this could have just been BS. Like the
Yes.
leaders could have just gotten on the bus and had no problem. But what a great opportunity for evangelization of like, for all 40 Days for Life leaders who are selflessly giving of themselves to end the slaughter of the innocent in Planned Parenthood abortion facilities across the world as they take in record numbers of tax dollars. You just keep going. Like the announcement never ends. And the little brisket boy's like, this is starting to get a little intense.
What is happening?
This is kind of crazy. So I couldn't stop laughing at that.
I think Bobby made the joke at the end. He's like, and then I finish it off with "Que viva Cristo!"
Viva! Totally.
Totally.
Oh my word.
But I didn't stop there, Sean. I also went into the restroom and yelled out, so if there's anyone still here, we're leaving.
Pending any HR issues, men's and women's?
No, just the women's.
Okay.
Just the women's. Just the women's.
Hey, no one would have.
No one left
Then
behind.
it's not the most Mexican mama thing ever.
No
Because
one
there's
left
been
behind.
some Mexican mama that did everything you did and then
And
went
then
into
the
men's room.
You
Right,
think I've never
right.
seen that
Ándale.
before?
Yeah, you don't think I changed your diaper? Yeah, 100%. I love it. I could not get over. What was funny is that who told me you did this? Was it you?
I told
She
you. I
was
did
telling us
this.
as we were waving
Yes.
goodbye to the leaders.
Yes.
On that.
That's right. You said I went into the Buc-ee's barbecue area, which seems it's like going into the
It was
sanctuary.
kind
Seems
of
like
at that
it's forbidden.
end, everybody's leaving and we're breathing the sigh of relief that
Yeah, it's a long weekend.
We've done this.
We
It's-
did it.
We've
Good
got them on
job,
the buses,
everybody.
but
it's
you know what?
1,000 degrees outside.
Yes.
And when we're all waving, the leaders are driving off on the buses. It's super fun. And we just like all look at each other like we're all like zombies. Like, ugh, when was the last time you showered? We're just done. It was hot.
Hot.
It's hot every year. This was extra hot. I don't know what it was about this.
humid. It
We're
was
getting
very
older.
humid.
We're getting older. We're yelling at brisket boys and Buc-ee's.
The brisket boy was very accommodating.
Well, he's okay.
Kudos.
If you cut brisket at Buc-ee's, you're pro-life.
For sure.
That's just
100%.
there is no world where I imagine the Buc-ee brisket boy being pro-abortion.
Okay. Fair enough.
You think you can? You're probably the most cynical person. Well, you're the most cynical person at the table right now for sure.
For sure.
But what do you think? There's some pro-abort Buc-ee brisket boy?
Yeah.
Why? How's it work?
Because having a baby is going to affect his brisket cutting, and he doesn't want to, that to interfere.
You're
with
getting an abortion. I ain't quitting Buc-ee's.
that. Exactly.
And I ain't working double. No way.
I don't
No
know. I
way.
don't know because
No,
Buc-ee's
Buc-ee is
pays
pro-life.
well.
Buc-ee's
Buc-ee's
is-
pays their employees well. It's a nice, friendly culture, atmosphere.
Aggie-owned,
They have a lot of
Texas-based.
Christian
They got Christian stuff.
merch,
got
decor.
They've got
Yeah.
the cheesy Christian country stuff.
Oh, for sure.
I love
the bedazzled crosses.
Right.
yeah, and just the mom coffee mug that says "This is coffee, I promise." The funny, and then they've got a lot of.
All I need is coffee and Jesus.
All I need is blessed by God and tequila. They've got
Yeah.
all that kind of
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
country redneck Jesus stuff.
Shout out. I don't know if she listens to the podcast, but Katie, who used to work with
Yes.
us here, she hated the bedazzled crosses. Oh, she just had this
funny.
every time she saw, she would complain. And so every now and then she'd come in, she's like, Jesus did not die on a zebra striped cross.
Ah!
She would just say that. And I would just to poke at her, I would send her pictures every time I found one. And I'll be like, well, Jesus didn't die on a sterling silver cross either. I mean,
Yeah, well.
I'm just saying. She hated those crosses.
I like the sign that says, unless you're Jesus or George Strait, you need a knock.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
you're supposed
At
to
the
hang it on your front door.
Yeah.
Jesus and George Strait. That's always great. So yeah, they've got all that. There is no pro-abortion brisket Buc-ee boy.
Okay.
He loves life
We'll go
and God and brisket
George Strait
and Buc-ee.
and Buc-ee.
God bless Buc-ee. It's like when I went to that NASCAR race and they were like, we thank God for all the great things in life, including Donald J. Trump and NASCAR. People are wondering why he won.
Oh, man.
It's awesome.
Oh,
So,
is that a true story?
yeah.
Yeah. When he went with Bridget, didn't you take Bridget there?
I took Bridget there.
Yeah.
We were spontaneously in Kansas City. It was a blast. And it was, God bless Donald. It's during the fall last year, election season. God bless Donald. All the good things in life, including family, Donald J. Trump, and NASCAR. And of course, everybody's like,
No, the
amen,
announcer
hell
had
yeah.
He had that thing of chew and
Oh,
his
100%.
lip.
And it was like, everybody was like, damn straight. Yeah, hell yeah. And everybody just said amen. And Bridget, we're dying under our breath because we're like, this is gold. This is gold. I love it. It was awesome.
Oh my God.
And it's true. It's true. So I'll go for it. But Brisket Boy is don't cuss when my mama's around. Would never get a girl pregnant out of wedlock. You know, he's straight and narrow. And by golly, the brisket's good. You couldn't have pro-abortion brisket at Buc-ee's. No one would buy it. We'd just sit there. Okay. As we move on.
We haven't even gotten into the topic.
She told me this story. It's true. So the listeners know this is an authentic production situation we have here. Maybe not a professional one, but it is authentic. We're exhausted. We're standing outside. She tells me the Buc-ee microphone brisket story. And I look at her and I'm like, we're talking about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
Hoping to God that I would remember the story. So there we go. The things we do for our wonderful listeners here at the 40 Days for Life podcast. Okay. We've got to cover some basics. Safe haven baby boxes and safe haven laws. Heather, what is that?
Okay. Well, first, we're going to talk about abandoned babies because, unfortunately, most people know that abandoned babies are found fairly regularly in various cities across the country. You hear reports, local news reports, really sad. Often it coincides with abandoned baby in dumpster.
And this is always, sorry to cut you off, but this has always gone on, and as we will get to, now it's, of course, because they overturned Roe.
Yeah, abandoned babies, and we have some really interesting examples later on you're going to see. Unfortunately, people have been abandoning babies for thousands of years. So, of course, this is not anything new. But some of the more recent examples of abandoned babies where they've been left in churches. In a couple of years ago, there was one found in a nativity in Queens, New York. So they actually left an abandoned baby in a nativity. People have found abandoned babies in bathrooms, in hospitals, outside of the doors of the ERs. There was one that was recently found in Kentucky in a laundry basket in the hallway of a hospital. I don't know why there was a laundry, maybe one of those roller ones, I guess. And so there's a lot of places that abandoned babies have been found. Also, ditches and fields and forests and things like that. Dumpsters is I think the most. It seems like the most common one
too. I've heard of landfills.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. So for this, because a lot of people are, they're digging into the reasons what that drives a mother to go so far as to abandon her newborn baby. And so we have, thank God, what are called safe haven laws. This is where a mother can legally surrender, not abandon, but surrender her child that's under a certain age, depending on the state, to an authority of some sort, whether it's a police officer, a firefighter, or go to a hospital. There are designated safe haven places. So Texas was actually the first to pass the safe haven law. And there have been many babies that have been spared from being abandoned in a dumpster or one of these other places because of these laws. But the whole point is so that the baby is not punished for whatever the mother's desperate situation is that she's in. If she's just in such a rut that she cannot care, she doesn't have any family support, maybe she is being trafficked and she's trying to make sure that her baby can survive and not get involved in the trafficking, which unfortunately also often happens.
That's interesting. So she's a victim of trafficking.
She'd be a victim
she gets
of trafficking.
Pregnant, and I guess in a way of heroic action,
yes,
she says my kid's not going into this world.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give him or her up.
Because the traffickers will use the women's children to manipulate them as well.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I don't want to try to get into the mind of a sex trafficker, but why do they want to deal with a baby? You would think that they would support the giving up of the baby, but it's for the manipulative reason?
They can. Now, as we've talked about before on the podcast, and as most people can probably guess, abortion rates are pretty high in the trafficking industry. But
Right.
it doesn't mean that every time a woman gets pregnant from trafficking that they make her have an abortion. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they let her have her baby, and she wants to have her baby. She wants to have something to have hope, to hang on to for hope. And she has a purpose. She has a better purpose now. So it doesn't mean that she's out of the, unfortunately, the victimizing of being trafficked. But yeah, they'll sometimes use their children to say, if you don't do this, then we're going to punish your baby in this way, or we're going to, I mean, there's lots of examples. It's pretty disgusting. There's lots of examples, but they will use that to manipulate her to basically stay with them. And so it could eventually get to the point where it's 5 years later. The baby's now 5 years old. The child is 5 years old, and they're getting them involved
That's what I
also
was
as
gonna say,
victims
that
for
that's
child
also-
trafficking. Because
That's also happening.
this is free labor. This is free merchandise, is what they see these children and these young women as, and they can use them over and over again. This is why this has risen to be a much higher, a faster growing industry, even more so than drugs. It's getting to that point because you sell drugs and it's gone. You have to keep on getting new drugs. But if you have women and children that you're using for trafficking, you can use those same products as they see them over and over and over again and keep making money off of the same product. It's disturbing. So like you said, to your point, these women that are in this situation who are surrendering their children are real heroes for finding a way to do that and sparing their child from this. And that's got to be the hardest thing they'll ever do in their life.
And we need to point out, not aborting them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's so stupid when you hear the pro-abortion people say, well, of course, they're abandoning their child because we don't have abortion. Well, they could have had an abortion. Mm-hmm. They didn't. It's just always killing the baby early is the best solution to the world's problems. It's crazy. Okay, so there's a map of this. The National Safe Haven Alliance is the website. So you can see the map. Here's some of the things around the law. The person leaving the baby is not required to answer any questions.
That's the key difference. So some people
Difference between what?
up until this point, people who don't know much about this would have asked, well, why did we need a law to say that a woman could bring her baby to a nurse? She could have done that before. The key is the law allows her to do so without being punished. So she can
So she used
surrender.
to be punished?
She can surrender her child at no questions asked, and then she can walk out of the facility, walk out of the hospital, or walk out of the fire station. So there are various, states have, and there's a map on the Safe Haven Alliance website of the.
But I'm curious,
locations.
is there a distinction between the mom leaving the baby at a safe haven designated box versus because
A gas
obviously
station.
obviously those mothers
Yeah, like if
are being prosecuted in some
if a
way
mom
versus
goes to
them-
the movies and leaves the baby in the movie theater and
or the
walks-
restroom, delivers the
Right.
baby in the restroom
Right.
or something. Right.
or then does that apply?
No. So in states where we're just talking about the law,
I have a big question when we're done with this.
it has to be a designated place. She can't just leave her baby at a gas station or something.
Okay.
Because then what could happen legally is the gas station surveillance cameras, the police could go and look at the surveillance cameras and find the identity of the woman, and legally they could track her down and charge her if the state wanted to, if they wanted to. But if she did the same thing at a hospital, because this is a place where they can care for the baby, and this is a designated safe place for the baby to be left in the hands of somebody who
With
could
the
care for the
intention
baby.
of that baby surviving
Exactly.
versus the intention.
I got to admit, I didn't even know
baby
these
to die.
existed.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just until we decided to do the podcast. I just thought you could leave your baby anywhere and someone would take it and then you would face repercussions. So the law is great, but let's go through this because then I got a big question.
And then before,
I think
so
the listeners are thinking.
before you go on, the website, in case anybody is wondering, is nationalsafehavenalliance.org. So I know Jill can put that on the screen for us, but that is where you can find the map of all the locations in the country of where safe haven places are. So go ahead.
All right, here we go. Okay, so the person leaving the baby is not required to answer any questions. Number 1. Number 2, no one is going to try to find out who you are. Number 3, staff at the safe haven facility may offer you medical assistance and ask some medical history questions for the baby records. All good.
But she's not required to answer them.
Correct. Number 4, the person leaving the baby can ask for info or help for herself.
Yes.
Number 5. By the way, you said the person leaving the baby. Can guys do this? Can guys abandon their baby and say, my wife is gone and I don't know what to do with this kid? Or does it have to be a woman?
The law stated person.
Okay.
So
that means a guy. Okay.
yeah.
Because if the girl's dead, or out, So if left at a safe haven location and with staff unharmed, they will not be charged with any crime and will remain anonymous.
So if the baby looks to be physically abused or emaciated or something like that, then that is cause for the state to be able to say, okay, you are not protected by this law because this baby, you had ill intentions.
Okay.
And now you're trying to just get out of being punished for abusing your child.
I hate to say this, and I'm just thinking realistically in these scenarios, but there may be scenarios where the mom attempts to kill the baby or strangle the baby.
Oh, there have been.
And then freaks out, doesn't do it, and then they can tell
Correct.
you harmed the child. Okay. I
Correct.
just wanted to say that because somebody may be thinking, what scenario are we talking about?
Yes. Well, and there have been situations recently and in the last few decades where you'll hear a report that let's say a 20-year-old girl who didn't want to tell her parents she was pregnant, or she told the parents and the parents didn't want anybody else to know. And next thing you know, she has the baby. So they didn't have an abortion. She gives birth to the baby at home, and then they kill the baby and they bury the baby in the backyard. There have been cases like that. So,
and that is where the pro-abortion people say, okay,
yes.
that was kind of rough and messy.
Yeah.
And we don't.
And see, if she would have been able to have an abortion, that wouldn't have a problem, which we will bring up later.
We will bring up later. And of course, abortion guarantees none of this happens because it kills the baby.
Right.
Okay. Here we go. Heavy duty steel boxes are installed on this is how it works.
This is what a safe haven baby box is. So we have safe haven laws, and then we have safe haven baby boxes that are meant to endorse these laws, but it's not. We can go ahead, Sean.
It's a heavy-duty steel box installed on the side of fire stations and hospitals designed to allow anonymity. Can't look at
like Finding Nemo.
It's an anemone.
Amity Island is where Jaws was. Okay. For mothers with newborns up to 60 days old to drop them off so they can be 2 months old.
In some states are 30 days. Here's the kicker. I may say this later on.
What if they're 3 months old?
I don't.
I mean, how's that work?
I don't know what the deciding factor is.
Why did they put a time limit on it? That makes no sense.
Because what do you have to put a time limit? You're going to drop a 5-year-old? Yeah.
No.
See, that's the thing. You have to put a time. Poor Timothy.
He doesn't start taking his plate to the sink.
See? Laws for you, Sean.
Yeah, that's how it all starts, Mr. Pro-Lifer. But yeah, that's strange. 60 days.
Do you know what's stranger?
What?
3 days. California.
Up to 3?
Oh, well, they just want everybody dead, though.
Is that what it's like? You have 3 days?
You have 3 days to drop your child, surrender your child.
I'm getting to my big question because this is building here. Okay.
This is an extension of the safe haven laws, like also known as the Baby Moses laws.
Baby Moses laws, which is a great name,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
that are already in place in some states. Okay, so on this case, the box is accessed by a door on the outside with a paddled incubator, appropriate temperature and air circulation, and an alarm that goes off inside to alert professionals. That's pretty amazing. So it's very sophisticated. So even if they don't hear the alarm, the baby's going to live a while.
Well, they'll hear the alarm. There's no question about it. The average.
What if they're? Well, I guess this is a fire. These are 24-hour places. The firehouses.
They're
and the
always there.
hospitals.
There's always someone there. Yeah. So even if
I wonder why the police station isn't one. Nobody would go.
Probably because this would be funny if you asked a police officer, because there's always this ripping on each other. Firefighters, police officers rip on
Firefighter.
on EMS and EMS rip on firefighters, like, because it's kind of this hierarchy, because firefighters, they got nothing else to do, so that's why they can sit in their station all day and have a second job, blah, 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 which is not true, because they're usually...
Go save a cat from a tree.
Yeah. But police officers are there's too much of a shortage, and the firefighters are more equipped right then and there to handle this, so...
Okay. The alarm is set off by a laser and calls 911. Mom can't hear the alarm. The professionals then arrive to remove the baby from the box with an average of 2 minutes, and then they offer life-saving care.
So here's what's interesting.
I've got another big question.
Okay, ask your question.
My question is, look at what we do for, by the way, these born children.
Yeah. Well, just wait.
And then...
You think there's not going to be objections.
And then we'll just leave a baby on the table to die in California and New York. We do all this. We got alarms. We got incubate, all of which I support. This is all beautiful. Talk about a lost country. And then we'll go and just kill a 40-week-old and discard them. So, okay.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just let those babies live and stick them in the fire department incubator, in the baby box? That's an interesting thing, because if they have these laws in California, even if it's 3 days, how can they legally have infanticide? They're breaking their own law. It's an abandoned, unwanted baby. Take it to the firehouse and stick it in the safe haven box.
Not every designated safe haven facility has a safe haven baby box.
That's true.
That's the thing. Safe haven laws in a place will be you hand the baby to a person. The box allows for complete anonymity. And see, one of the arguments against the boxes is, well, you shouldn't have the boxes. The babies deserve to be handed to a human being, but that's not anonymous.
Right.
Even though some people mistakenly think that's anonymous. It's not anonymous if you're showing your face to someone. You can do it confidentially, but it's not anonymous. And so this is meant to be that last moment of hope. Nobody wants it to get to a point where a baby has to be placed in a box. But if a baby is placed in a box versus a baby is placed in a dumpster or on the side of a road in a plastic bag, I think the box where the firefighters are going to come within 2 minutes on average to help this baby and to give this baby a chance at life is a far better option.
So I'm going to ask you another unfair legal question. Does the mom have to hand the baby to someone? Why couldn't a nurse, let's take a place like California, so the doctor says, darn it, I tried to kill this little girl. It didn't work. Now she's alive on the table. Can the nurse say, I'm taking her under the safe haven law?
Well, the nurse couldn't, because it's up to the birth mother to surrender the child.
What if she looks at the birth mother and is like, hey, your baby survived the abortion. I'll take the baby.
That's a great question. And in California, the law would probably prevent the nurse from taking that child.
And that would be a contradiction of their other law.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
Yes.
That's why this is fun. It's like the Scott Peterson thing.
Yes.
Why is he on death row?
Yeah.
What a rip.
First of all, don't get me started on this, okay? You guys love to rip on me for my justice junkyism, my crime
No. This isn't justice junkyism. It's fanatical, basement dwelling, creepy.
No.
One day I'm gonna be a serial killer.
I don't cross that line, Sean Carney. You better stop it.
Killer name.
Oh, stop!
Heather
Come
the
on.
Slayer.
But because I pay attention to this stuff, I know there's more stuff coming about.
You listen to crime podcasts on homicides and.
But Scott Peterson they're trying to free him.
Yes,
they're
they
trying
are.
to get him for
They
a second
should.
trial.
Free Scott. Free Gosnell.
No, but he did kill his wife.
Yeah, that's
Killed
bad.
his wife
He's
and
got
child.
to stay there for that.
But he's got second-degree murder for Connor. And if I'm him, I'm like, that's BS. Y'all are killing babies. Y'all are leaving them out to die on the table. And you know for sure. you know for sure that Lacey Peterson wanted her baby.
But
We can prove that.
They are
can't prove
trying.
that.
The Innocence Project is now trying to get him off for killing Lacey as
I
well.
understand that. He's a bad example. Gosnell for sure should be freed. And of course, I say that cynically to stick it to the other side.
Yes.
But why wouldn't you free Gosnell? If you are the president, if you're Alexis McGill Johnson, you run Planned Parenthood, how are you not out in front saying, this man's a hero? He was doing in 2008 what you're doing now, except he was ahead of his times. He gave us penicillin for crying out loud, and you locked him up. It's total BS.
But was Gosnell charged for the
He was charged.
infanticide, or was he charged just for
He was charged for murdering
selling
the
of the-
babies.
The infanticide. He cut 8 babies.
Well, I knew he did that, but did they actually charge him for that?
Yes.
Baby A, C, and D.
That's right.
Baby
That's right.
A,
I'm
C, and D.
remembering now.
They had 6 accounts. They could only get them on 3. And he took scissors and he
right.
cut the heads off of the babies who survived and were born.
Yes.
And that is total BS if you're Gosnell.
Right.
And if you're his lawyer, Jack McMahon.
Which is what they argued.
They argued that. He got the job done. Abortion kills a baby. It failed. He finished the job. It's not nice.
Yeah.
It's bloody. We don't like talking about it at cocktail parties, but he did it. And it's legal in the United States of America. And of course, the jury looked at each other, said the lawyer's a psychopath, and they put him life in prison. But
I wonder how many of those jurors walked away pro-life after that, if they weren't before.
From what I heard, all of them. And there were, I think, more than half supported abortion when they were added to the jury. And I'm sure that died once they started seeing some of the photos. But Gosnell has a point. How in the world? So if we're going to leave the baby there to die, as Governor Northam described on the radio, that's all Gosnell was doing, except he was shortening the process. And in fact, his lawyer said, why would you leave him there to suffocate and have the baby suffer? He didn't want the baby to suffer, so he decapitated him. That's like an exact quote from one of the arguments.
Right.
I don't know how you argue with that. But Gosnell should get a mistrial. And the reason I want it in all seriousness is because it would bring attention to this.
Yes.
And I want to hear the other side try to defend it, and I want to rattle the pro-lifers.
And they don't want to.
They don't want to. But Gosnell, his IQ is like off the chart. He's extremely intelligent. So he's still alive. He's in prison. He knows this is going on. He listened to Kamala run for president. You know, he listened to Governor Northam. He listened to Cuomo. He's sitting here going, I just didn't want the babies to suffer. They survived, so they were going to die anyways in abortion. Mm-hmm. What did they want me to do? Rush them to a hospital? They're not doing that now. It's interesting being ahead of your culture.
Of your industry.
Your industry. Planned Parenthood wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. And believe me, we tried. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they didn't like harp on it a lot, but they acknowledged that is not professional healthcare or something. And yet now they're advocating for the same thing he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I understand the person who, if you are a hardcore abortion supporter who believes in no limits on abortion, you need to be outside that federal prison protesting and asking them to release Gosnell. I mean, he is, in your world, he is a hero because he actually didn't want those babies to suffer and suffocate. And now that's the option. We make the baby comfortable, is what Governor Northam said. So, okay, so that's my little thing on the professionals arrived. They removed the baby from the box within 2 minutes, and then they offer life-saving care. So thank God they do that, obviously, but I think we need to point out the schizophrenia. Okay, last point, and then I've got a big picture question that's just weird. Okay. Infant abandonment devices.
So this is the origin of the idea of the safe haven baby boxes were called infant abandonment devices.
IADs. Mm-hmm. So these are modern versions of
the foundling wheel.
Oh.
The foundling wheel.
Foundling wheel.
The first foundling wheel was installed in a church wall in 1898.
1198.
1198, I'm sorry. I have been in an Irish pub in Ireland that was built in 1098.
Oh,
It's 100 years older.
That's
I just
amazing.
wanted to point that out for the audience. Okay. The first foundling wheel was installed in a church wall in 1198 to address the high rates of abandonment and infanticide in Rome. Wow.
so bell rings.
Look at your research, Heather.
Nuns come to get the baby.
Okay.
This was required by Pope Innocent III
All right.
because he was disturbed in Italy about how of the number of abandoned babies that
Wow.
were being reported. So he ordered that all churches in Italy at one point have a foundling wheel installed in their churches. So it's the same concept where it was a device. Of course, it doesn't have like a padded incubator and stuff in it in 1198, but it has a little place to place a baby. The wheel turns, it rings a bell. The nuns in the church come and they care for the baby.
By the way, to show that this isn't the world according to Heather, this is from the Yale Bioethics Center. That's the citation. That's awesome. Even though the Catholic Church is evil and all popes are terrible.
Yeah.
That's one nice thing that they did for those babies in 1198. Okay, I have an issue here with all this. And I'm not trying to be cynical because this is great. This is beautiful.
Let me pause you.
Okay.
Because we have a whole section for objections, and I want to see if your objection,
Is in
what
the
you have in here is in here. But just before you get to your
When
objection,
do I get to give my objection?
in 30 seconds or less,
Thank
I
you.
swear. So places where currently, if we're back to 2025, where our safe haven baby boxes are North Korea, Italy, Germany, the Czech Republic, and 20 states as of July 2025, 20 states in the United States. So there are currently more laws. We do have safe haven baby boxes in Texas. We don't have one in Austin yet. It is in the works. I'm making it happen.
But there are safe haven locations.
There are
right? Because I've seen
locations
them, but
that-
not the boxes.
Right.
Gotcha.
They don't necessarily have a box. So if it's a safe haven location, that means the law requires you hand the baby
over.
to a nurse or whoever
Gotcha.
at that station. So then we come to objections specifically to the safe haven baby boxes, not to the law, to the boxes. What's yours, Sean?
Mine's not an objection. It's a
Okay.
observation.
Observation. Okay.
Who knows that these things exist? Do women that abandon their babies know that it's legal, illegal, that there's boxes where they can go, that they can't be asked questions? I'm saying that as we need to educate people on
Yes.
this, which is what we're trying to do. But how do you know this?
This is one reason why we're having this podcast, and thank you again to our wonderful listener who suggested this topic a while ago.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but obviously I'm looking at the good side of human nature. These horrific stories where we read about a mom dumping her baby in the prom toilet or a movie theater or whatever, they would go to one of these things, right? I mean, nobody really wants to do that, but I'm just interested when they said, hey, we're making it a law to where you can't be prosecuted, or a law, like how does somebody become aware of that? How do they even know that?
So it's different with the safe haven laws, but specifically, I mean, it varies. Specifically, though, with the safe haven baby boxes, which the safe haven baby boxes is an actual company. So it's a company that's based out of Indiana. The first box was a safe haven baby box was installed in a small town in Indiana. So it's now spread to approximately 20 states. But what they do is every time there is a box that's requested, and someone, whether it's a fire chief or somebody in their community where they work to get this installed, they have to raise a certain amount of money. The Safe Haven Baby Box Company matches that money.
Okay.
Fun fact, Knights of Columbus are one of the top donors
Really?
for
That's
this.
not surprising.
So they, similar to me, machines, sonogram machines. They're raising usually 50% of the funds for that. So a community gets this Safe Haven Baby Box. The founder or some representative from Safe Haven Baby Box comes out to do a press conference. They have a box blessing. So this is all televised. And then anytime, so they tried to use that to, advertise to the community, this is available if you are in a desperate situation. Please don't abandon your baby, right? They use social media, so they're on social media. If there is a baby that is surrendered in one of these boxes, what they will do is then have a press conference to make sure, because they know that the mom is listening, And they're using this to say, hey, this just succeeded in saving a life. By the way, mom, thank you. Your baby is okay. We've got it from here. That way that mom knows that worked. She doesn't have to worry. The baby truly is safe, and the baby's going to be taken care of by a family through the foster to adopt system. So it's pretty incredible. Now, we have a lot more work to do, yes, to let people know about these laws, but they have found, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of this, but they have found that in towns, in states where these baby boxes have been installed, the rates of baby abandonment has significantly decreased from like 50 to 4 or something like that.
So it works.
It is working.
I would think that it would have a very strong word of mouth.
Yes.
Like, hey, my friend did this, and there are these boxes, and the fire department, and you won't get in trouble. I'm sure that has a strong word of mouth. But so that is good. That's encouraging to hear. Speaking of locations, I want to go through this real quick.
I already did those.
You didn't do North Korea?
I did. I read through them real quick.
Okay, that was so fast I missed.
Pay attention, John.
Sorry, I can't pay attention. I was still angry about Gosnell being locked
up. We're looking at the objections now, which I was thinking you might share some of these.
All right, here we go. All right, here's the objection number 1. This will just encourage people to abandon their newborn babies instead of taking responsibility for their own child. Why can't we just solve problems without people saying you're encouraging the problem?
So
what's wrong?
You read the truths of this, Ramona, because I want to hear your commentary on this, on my second one, Roman numeral 2.
So the truth, this argument is about This argument is about as weak and misguided as the argument against churches helping single pregnant mothers because, quote, that just endorses sex outside of marriage.
Right?
No, so this is the woke right, okay? So you will stop all sin or none. You will solve all world problems or none. It's just endless. You wouldn't be able to do any kind of missionary work. You couldn't do any Christian charity because we're all sinners. Everybody's hopeless. So it really drives me crazy. I understand we've talked about this before, the acknowledging the courage it takes to choose life without praising the lifestyle that got you there.
Yes.
That's not okay. You're not supposed to run out and get pregnant so that then you can be blessed with a child and choose life. There's a natural order to everything. So I know that there's a fine line with that, but this is just different.
So the thing is, though, if you're going to take this argument further, that this is just going to encourage more abandonments, it is very unlikely that teenage girls are out having sex and they're thinking, well, if I get pregnant, it's fine because I can abandon my baby. That's not what's happening. This is a desperate mother who's alone. She has no money. She's in danger. She's like at her wits' end. Nothing else
is more likely to cause that mentality.
100%.
True. Yeah.
100%.
I'll just get an abortion.
Or she's here illegally, and she doesn't want to risk being deported.
Like
so
she's
the boyfriend could be hunting her down.
Yep.
And the
he's going to
boyfriend.
kill her, and
kill the baby too.
Yeah. So I don't want to do that because he is legally liable for the baby or responsible. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't want to pay child support, killing her doesn't really do a whole lot. That just means he's got to take over taking care of the kid. But I could see where he's trying to kill the baby. And so she's going to hand it over.
Yes.
Okay, here's another thing from our pro-abortion friends. You just want forced birth and then to steal the babies. You want to force the birth and then take the baby.
We want to force birth so that we can adopt more babies.
That's what we want. That's on our T-shirts. Here's another one. We don't need more kids in the foster care system. You know what would do it, though? The foster care system is overwhelmed. So if we just gas all those little pumps.
Exactly. We could start from scratch.
It'll empty it out.
Yeah.
Just drop a bomb.
Put the bodies in the East River.
Yeah.
No one will know. That's a good suggestion. Okay. You have the acronym in here. The Safe Haven baby boxes.
Babies.
Babies.
Say that 10 times
I know.
fast.
It actually gets more fun later on. Just wait.
The safe haven
Baby box
baby
babies.
box babies. Thank you. Regularly gets criticism and complaints, including what aboutisms. That's a great one. I
Whataboutisms.
love whataboutisms. What about? Well, we got to make them sound dumb. What about?
Bro.
Bro.
Don't forget to finish.
What
bro.
about? Yeah.
right. That's
People
right.
die every day, bro. That guy did sound like that. That's where I got the voice from. Is when I said we were talking about abortion. I said it kills a baby.
That's
People
right.
die every day, bro. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do whatever we want. Run some stop signs. So this is people die every day, bro, which is what about, and you just fill in the blank.
And this is interesting. So I didn't mention this yet. The Safe Haven Baby Box Company has a little docuseries.
Oh.
So they go into a whole bunch of details about how this got started for them, the stats, the results, all this stuff. And I found it very interesting because they have a battle of fighting both pro-abortion and pro-life legislatures in various states.
Interesting.
And it's crazy, some of the stuff. But one of the things they point out in there is that one of the things they get criticized the most for is, well, you're not solving this other problem. And I'm like, where have we heard that? The people who are against abortion. Well, you're not solving homelessness and you're not solving this. And so they have those same exact frustrations and challenges thrown at them.
To be fair and open-minded, do causes that I'm not really passionate about, I don't know, the environment, because I don't trust the movement because of things we've discussed. I don't want to pollute the earth, but I don't think we're all going to float off next week. Do people do that to the environmentalists? I guess they do. Is this universal? It always seems like the pro-lifers get stuck with, hey, the education of children in the state of Alabama is the worst in all 50 states, and they outlawed abortion. Maybe you should educate the children instead of restricting women's rights.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what all you said, but I want to raise my hand and say I want everybody to be able to read.
I think it's naive when pro-lifers say, well, nobody else gets told, da-da-da. I think a lot of other ones do. I do think it's fair, though, to say we probably get told that far more.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think the homeless ministries, that nearly as many people are going to them saying, well, why don't you solve this problem? You know, you're not solving the alcoholic problem. You're not solving the
drug,
abusive family problem.
fentanyl,
And now we got to give money to you to help the
mental
homeless.
illness.
Like,
And I wonder-
I think they get that, but
when-
I don't think they get it
Not
like
to
we
the
do,
degree
because
of
we
which we
know
do.
good and
No.
well that people use it as an excuse to diverge from the issue of
But when
abortion.
Al Gore was running around sweating, yelling at us about the end of the world and the environment,
and the Simpsons melted ice cream episode.
all of the sophistication.
That's called climate. That's called global warming, little girl.
So when Al Gore was doing that, were people saying, you're spending all this time worrying about the end of the world coming to Earth when we deserve the Earth to go away because of all the starving children who are suffering? You know, he probably got a lot of that. I don't know if you're allowed to be passionate about anything anymore without doing, everything.
Yeah.
That's where we get, you only care about the born children,
Yes.
which is just so
Lazy.
lazy.
I call it lazy.
And I just say, you got me. You're right.
You're right.
Don't
yeah.
like living
That's an
kids.
even better
I don't even like my own kids.
Yeah.
Don't want them living. I care about little babies in the womb who make no noise, who sit there, and if I want to see them do a camera, I can look at the ultrasound, but otherwise, they're not asking me to play soccer. They're not asking me for help on their homework. They're easy. I want to protect them. The others, they can all die, rot in hell, and then they're like, you don't really think that, do you, man? No. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
So
there's some other groups that are safe haven like groups in other states. They seem to be specifically against safe haven baby boxes because they believe a baby deserves to be handed to a person, not set in a box. Other objections would be this is the objection, very common. Denies their access to original birth and heritage records which again,
Who cares about that?
later on, if a child decides they're 18 years old and they decide they want to know their medical history or they want to know about their heritage and they don't have it because, my mother abandoned me in a safe haven.
But a lot of kids grow up not knowing their medical history because their dad never goes to the doctor. He keels over when he's 50 and you're sitting there going, I think he may have had a heart problem, but we don't really identify it. I mean, a lot of people. But
that's a purposeful action that's denying this child. And so they're saying, therefore, it should be she hands the baby to a nurse and also she should answer questions, which she's not required to. So
how many times would that mom even know the answers to that question herself?
This is a pretty dire situation. The bombs are going off, bullets are flying.
Yes.
We're trying to save this child.
Yes.
And these idiots are bringing up these, and I believe you, these are the real objections. You did great research. I just can't believe it. It denies their access to original birth and heritage records. When's your birthday? I don't, May-ish? I don't know. Please save me. If the babies could talk.
Yes.
A lot of it boils down to that. If the babies could talk, and they can't, they need us. But, oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I lost my place. Here we go.
Just give me a bottle. I don't know when my birthday is.
I'm dying.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. I'm dying. I'm defenseless. Mm-hmm. Was your dad a Puerto Rican? I don't know. Okay. Replaces professional best practice standards with unprofessional, unethical relinquishment by letting parents abandon solely for the sake of convenience or out of ignorance with no counseling, paper signing, or discussion on the family preservation alternatives. So there's no bureaucracy, therefore the life has no dignity. We didn't talk about this. This was very unprofessional. We just let you abandon out of convenience and ignorance, and we can't have that because you need to responsibly abandon. And there was no counseling.
Mm-hmm. Or you know what? There's no money to be made.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a good point.
It is a good point, and that has also been some arguments against safe haven baby boxes, that they're just in it for the money because it costs approximately $20,000 to create one of these boxes. They don't profit off of this, though. They talk all about this and their
adoption agencies
990s and all this stuff. Yes, it's true. Some of them can. It varies, but the thing is back to your point. The safe haven laws, first of all, are wonderful, and they've been proven to save lives. Having the added benefit of a safe haven baby box saves even more lives. That's the whole point of this. And the safe haven baby box people, including our friend Pam Stenzel, she's one of the primary people she's the primary counselor on the hotline that they have. They're trying to encourage them to really, first of all, to keep their child. If there's any way possible, they can get them the help that they need so that they can keep their child. That's their first priority, is keeping baby with biological mother and father if he's in the picture. Number two, if they've gone through it and she simply cannot, and she is like, either you tell me where I can take my baby or my baby's going in a dumpster kind of thing, because these are anonymous calls. Right. Then that's the next step. Okay, now here's a safe haven. They help her find where's the nearest location to where you are. You can take this to a nurse, hand this to a nurse. The nurse cannot ask you any questions, or you don't have to answer any questions. You don't have to give any paperwork. You do not have to give any information about the baby, anything like that. You can do this without saying a word, and you can walk away without any legal ramifications. And then, of course, if she's like, no, I can't do that, people would know who I am in my town. Mm-hmm. Then okay, let's go to the next town over, or here's a baby box. This is the last resort in their own words. They do not want this to happen, but if it's between dumpster or baby box is the far better option because the baby gets to live.
And I would imagine that in the majority of those scenarios, obviously I'd have to look at the stats on it, whatever, but I would imagine, I'm trying to put myself in a woman's shoes, in a young mother's shoes, and she's in that position. I would imagine I'd be more likely to drop my baby off in the box and not have to face anybody, you know?
I think that's most people.
Yeah, I would think that would be the majority.
That's why they're so good. All right, I want to get into some of these stats. Some of these are very sad and some are very uplifting. Sad ones first. Okay, every 3 days in the United States, an infant is found dead. Estimates of over 50 babies are abandoned every day in the U.S.
Now, this is hard to know because these groups are scouring headlines to find this. There's not any national statistics of babies abandoned.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Probably.
That's a good
These are estimates.
That's good to know.
Yep. So
Okay.
Texas.
Excuse me. The founder of SHBB, Monica Kelsey, she saw a baby safe in Cape Town, South Africa, at a church. Okay, the first
Safe Haven baby box.
Safe Haven baby box was April of 2016 in Woodburn, Indiana fire station. Way to go, Woodburn, Indiana. That's fantastic. Hope boxes started in Georgia that same year, and they decided to join forces. So they're all the same now. Okay, Arizona has Safe Baby Haven drawers in some hospitals since early 2000s.
Similar concept.
To date, the hotline has received over 9,000 calls and has helped parents in every state in the U.S., including referring over 500 women to crisis pregnancy centers, assisting in 10 adoption referrals, and facilitating over 150 legal Safe Haven surrenders. That's amazing.
And this is just for the Safe Haven baby box company. They have a hotline. There's also a national, we'll put these phone numbers on the screen, but there's also a national hotline too, just in general for Safe Haven baby laws. But
this is interesting. So with each baby box shipped to a new location, it comes with oxygen masks to fit for babies, diapers, clothes, and other materials that are donated, and a bag for the mother to take information and numbers to get help for themselves.
So she opens the box and there's a bag she can grab as she's placing her baby.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Isn't it beautiful? It's so beautiful.
There's a $2 million policy on every Safe Haven baby box. What does that mean?
Basically insurance.
What do you mean insurance?
Well, if they say, oh, the alarm didn't go off in the amount of time, they're gonna, or something like that. No, the baby's not gonna die. I mean, they haven't had a baby die yet. They've had dead babies placed in the box.
But they haven't lost a baby.
They haven't lost a baby being placed in a, because again, these are 24-hour, there's fire
and the alarm
stations.
goes off immediately. So if the baby, I assume, is probably having nutritional problems or starvation.
Maybe.
They're able to instantly support the baby. I still don't understand the $2 million policy.
I think that's a policy that if something goes wrong with the box, like if it's defective or something like that.
Who gets the $2 million?
That's a great question.
Like the fire station? Like, hey, our county bought this thing, but it didn't work?
That's probably,
Okay.
That's probably, that makes
I just wanted to make sure because I didn't understand.
That makes the most sense, yeah.
It takes approximately 25 hours to build one of these.
To build a box, yeah. And they show you, if you watch the docuseries, they show you the process, all the different stages it goes through. They got an electrical
Do you remember the
engineer.
name of the docuseries?
I'll look it up.
We'll look it up, put it on the show page.
Yeah. And actually, I know it because
Is it
here.
uplifting or is it
It's
depressing?
called Baby Box Series.
Oh, that was easy.
It's
Half 50-50?
it's uplifting in the very end, obviously, because it talks about like this is the result, but it goes through a lot of drama and a lot of craziness. Yeah.
I can imagine.
This is interesting. The states where abortion has the least restrictions is where most abandonments are happening. Woo! There's a little dig.
Except for one exception,
Which is Texas.
which is Texas. But we're talking New York, California, Illinois, New Mexico. Those are the top 4 out of the 5. So when they say you wouldn't have all these abandoned babies if you had abortions, how do you explain California, New York, Illinois, and New Mexico and the higher rates of abandoned babies when they have virtually no abortion restrictions?
Yeah, so Texas last year, 2024, 18 infants were illegally abandoned. And the reason they track that now is because of our pro-life laws.
Probably, yeah.
As of July 2025, there are 345 Safe Haven baby boxes in the U.S. That doesn't feel like a lot. And I'm not thinking of it. Remember the red boxes that were at CVS? And I know it can't be as common as that.
No.
But
It just doesn't, compared to all of the United States. Yeah. It's a
How
good
much
number.
are they to make? You have their 25 hours to build. How much?
$20,000 per box.
Oh man, I mean, how easy is it to raise money for that? Look at how people dish out money for ultrasounds. You know, at 30,000 a pop on the low end.
I'd like to see that number.
Yeah, that needs to go up.
Quadrupled.
Well, we're rooting for Monica, who's the founder.
Well, and one of this is in the facts, but this can also go in the objections section, which is there's a question: why are the safe haven baby boxes not regulated by the FDA or the CSPC, which is the Consumer Product for Safety Commission? And the answer is the FDA. They've commissioned for that. They've approached all these whatever entities. And the FDA has determined that the safe haven baby box does not qualify as a medical device and therefore does not require FDA approval. Because the baby boxes are not commercially for sale, they do not require CSPC regulation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's free.
It's
But still.
You have to raise money for them.
But you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's the woman's not buying
No,
it.
it's
she would buy a blood pressure monitor.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but that's one of the objections. Oh, it's not FDA approved. It's not medical. It's not. And
That's an objection.
That's an objection.
I wouldn't stick
use.
my abandoned kid in that. It could be dangerous.
Exactly. And that's not like pro-abortion objection. That's people who are for safe haven laws, but not for the safe haven baby boxes. That's one of the
because the FDA doesn't approve of it.
And it's not like a lot of and I think it's
for some reason it makes me feel safer.
Me too.
FDA doesn't like these.
I thought the same thing, but and I say it's not the pro-abortion. It's actually both. It's pro-abortion objection as an excuse, I think, and also people who are just wanting to reduce abandoned babies and are for the safe haven laws, but not for this, because there's some research that shows that supposedly a lot of the medical community, are not approving of these baby boxes because they're not medically approved and FDA approved and all that. So I had the same reaction. I'm okay with that.
I just struggle with the idea that people want to reduce the number of abandoned babies when you have like 3,000 abortions a day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like why do
what's wrong with it?
Right. I would much rather see babies being abandoned than
slaughtered,
being aborted.
Well, abandonment, you have a shot, and we hear those stories.
Yes.
My mom, Moses is one, by the way.
Exactly.
But my mom left me. I was an orphan, whatever the story is, and now I own a software company.
And then you take into consideration how many couples are waiting to adopt. The amount of couples
For sure.
waiting to adopt.
And so something also key to point out, I think I must have missed it in here, the founder of the Safe Haven Baby Boxes, Monica Kelsey, was herself an abandoned child.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So
that's really
all
neat.
The more
that makes it.
Her heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, and this is where the feminists need to show up, is I think men don't have babies, right? Women do have to bear them.
Some men have babies, Sean.
Yes.
According to our 2025 culture.
Yes, that's true. I forgot. I'm sorry. The
pregnant persons
who just make me uncomfortable in general. Are you saying you're a transphobe? Yes, very much so. I'm on the board of directors of the transphobes. You saying they make you feel weird? Very much so. And they make you feel weird also.
Yeah.
I'm just honest. I don't think it's strange. Yeah, you do. I'm just not saying it. We need to women need a way out.
Yeah.
Moms need a way out. And I do, you don't bear the baby. You don't have to deal with the baby your whole life. You don't have to. And there are circumstances, if the guy's coming after him, I have no issue with society providing them a real way out, no questions asked. Mm-hmm. So, by the way.
But it pales in comparison.
These women aren't criminals.
Numbers.
These women aren't criminals. We do this for criminals. We cut deals with drug dealers so that we can catch other drug dealers. We cut deals with murderers. We cut deals with criminals and say, no questions asked. You tell us who this person is or if you do business with this person. So we do that as a society all the time where we just don't ask questions if you're willing to give something up. In this case, they're giving their baby up, no questions asked, no drug tests, no whatever.
But guess what? Going along those lines, another incentive for moms in desperate situations to abandon their babies is if they give birth in a hospital and the baby tests positive for drugs, if it's a drug addicted baby, the mom can get charged
I was going to ask you that. I didn't know the law.
And they're documented cases too that the Safe Haven Baby Box Company points out, like these are actual cases that have happened and reasons that women will abandon their babies. And so again, another reason to have the baby box, because no, we don't want that mother to continue on with her drug addicted lifestyle. But why should the baby die even if she does that? And this is, at least gives her the opportunity to save the baby's life. So
largest supporters of the Safe Haven baby boxes of the Knights of Columbus. You mentioned that earlier, but that's great. Wonderful. Yeah. Proud Knight of Columbus.
Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, this is from a listener.
Yeah. So I asked this listener if I could quote her. I just put anonymously, but this was actually the listener who requested this podcast. So
do I get to read this?
Go ahead if you want.
My husband and I adopted a baby, Moses, from Texas. She was safely surrendered to a fireman in June of 2022 and has been with us ever since. It should normally only take 6 months to finalize such an adoption, but the lack of knowledge about these programs, even within the first responder and healthcare community, caused our adoption process to last over 2 years. During our wait for the adoption, we watched at least 3 news stories near us where newborns were left in trash cans directly after birth. So it shows, I think, the flaw in this, which is that nobody knows about it, which is just the way it is. Things start small.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons we're doing the podcast. So the Safe Haven Crisis Helpline, for those of you who want to share it, is 1-888-510-BABY. 1-888-510-BABY. 2229 is baby. So it's great. It's wonderful.
And then the Safe Haven Baby Box has their own national hotline, and that's 1-866-99-BABY-1. 1-866-99-22291. And either of those are good resources to have to help women who are so desperate that they don't even want to go to a pregnancy center or a hospital or anything. So
it's a great topic, and thank you both. And thank you to the listener who suggested this. We will keep your name private. But please write in at podcast@40daysforlife.com if you do want a topic. We can't cover everything, but this was a great topic we hadn't covered on the podcast and very educational, hopefully, to you. So please rate, review, and share this podcast, and we will see you next time. God bless you.